Greetings, this is Ron.
And this is Felonious, and we're back with Chapping, episode 12, I think.
That's right. This is a show in which two chaps from far across the world come together. We bring random mystery topics. We don't know what we're going to talk about until we sit down. And we just like to see what's the other person's opinion or experiences, or just make up some BS about it.
Absolutely. And then you are going to put some more comments down at your point of view.
Yes, we love reading your comments.
Absolutely.
So
more.
This week, I want to start off by talking about bagpipes.
Bagpipes! Oh, that's a long story. Oh dear, oh dear.
So for me, while you think about bagpipes, for me, bagpipes are not any sort of everyday occurrence.
Nope.
They're rarely something we ever think about. But once upon a time, my family and I are sitting in our house, and the sun is starting to go down, and suddenly we hear bagpipes coming through the neighborhood.
No kidding.
We go outside. We just go towards the sound. It's very beautiful, very ethereal, and we see a guy walking up and down the soccer field, just playing the bagpipes, and we just sit down in the grass and watch as the sun sets, and we listen to this. This
was hypnotic.
Music. Yeah, and then he got in his car, drove away. We don't know why that day, why that place, but bagpipes.
Bagpipes. Well, I haven't actually heard any bagpipes in real life.
Oh.
No, I'm not living where we have it. We have so many strange instruments in Sweden, so I have heard some key harps and stuff that you wouldn't believe, because they sound more like a bagpipe.
Okay.
But it all started with Amazing Grace, of course. I think that was the first tune I heard on a bagpipe. And then it was the Loch Lomond. You will take the high road and I'll take the low road. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll be in Scotland before you. And that was a rare occurrence. But I love bagpipes. I love the sound of bagpipes. And if you can connect it to the Scottish, or should I say the Celtic dance, if you have the whole package, I'm actually doing some lookups on YouTube for just these, or some Irish dance. That's so fine, but you don't get the bagpipes then. Because I feel like I'm part Celt. Somehow I'm a bit Celtish or something like that. Perhaps you also have that. And by the way, aren't your ancestors from East Europe?
Poland, Germany,
Yes.
France.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about your Polish friends, you had Polish ancestry. I think you have some of these sort of bagpipes back there in Eastern Europe, because they don't look the same, but you have the same sound and you do have a bag.
Well, my grandfather on my dad's side played the accordion in a polka band.
Yep, that's the next part.
Okay, so that's a different bag than what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this one was before that. And we are talking way back. They was actually using, sheep splatters and stuff to make these bags back then. So it was, you have to use every part of an animal, right? I mean, that's how you do it. So I think that was how most, and something like sound, it's always been the human rights sort of. We are always loving our sounds.
How on that note, how do you, if you can picture what a bagpipe looks like, it's this bag that you squeeze under your armpit with a tube up to your mouth and then some other things. How the heck did anyone ever think to bring those components together to get a sound out of it?
Well, I'm not totally sure, but there is probably history that we are not bothered with. But there is one thing that I think has been in our, let's say, our genetics for quite some time. a pipe. The pipe made out of some sort of tube from a wood thingy, not the bamboo, but something like that. We have. Let's see. I can do a Google Translate.
Like a reed instrument.
Okay. You actually have a flute called a recorder.
Yes.
And that is the most common one we use for kids if they're going to start blow stuff in the instruments. And that is probably the start for our modern word. And I think that one was actually back before the bagpipe. And they connected that one to I don't know, sheep's bladder or something like that, a stomach or whatever bad things they were using back then. And then they realized that why should you blow? Why should you start to blow things? The blowing thing is, that people are lazy. We have been talking about that for ages. So if you just blow up the bag and then you just press enough air out of the bag to make the sound. You just blow it up once and then you don't blow anymore, and then you can, you probably can do a half a song or something like that. But that's fine.
Well, wait a second. Bagpipes, you blow with your mouth.
Yep.
And you just blow with your arm.
No.
There's a bag and you put something to your mouth.
You just blow up the bag, right?
I don't know how I just realized. Why does it have both? I don't know how bagpipes work. I was thinking of this subject for the sound of the bagpipes, and now I've just suddenly blown my mind.
The construction, yes. But as far as I can see, you blow in air into the bag, and you can blow as much as you want. Just make sure that you have a tight bag because you are having it under your arm. And then you just push with your arm to make air go from the bag out through the horn or the pipe or whatever it is. And then other sounds are coming up through the different types of pipes you have up on your ears and stuff. And the main chord is the recorder pipe, so to speak, that you're making. That is the to fine tune. If you hear a bagpipe start, you know that he's blowing, there's no sound at all, and suddenly there's a one tone coming from three pipes. That is the background sound. Yeah. And then suddenly he's doing the pipes with his hands. That is, he's playing the song.
So the bagpipe emits the constant drone, which is like the bass or the... Yes. And then the person's breath also is like the melody or something.
Yes, exactly. So it's both of them, of course. And then the main thing here is that when they suddenly realized that they could keep a lot of air, the bigger the bag, the longer the tune. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at the good Gotland the Brave and all those long, they have like 7-8 verses, and they have to play through all of them. They need a bigger bag. You can't have just a little sheep's bladder then. No way. So I guess it started with a small one, and then they just opened up. And today they are made of wool, of course, fabric. So I guess they are and absolutely nice. And if you can ever feel, if you just hear one single bagpipe like you did back on the soccer field, think of it like 5 or 10 going on at the same time. And they are not tuned at the same tune. The background note is actually different in all of them. So some is more of a bass. And that's what I'm looking up on YouTube because I love that sound back. And if they are playing inside some old Scottish stone building town, the echoes and the acoustic, oh dear. I'm not good at playing music myself, except on a gramophone or a record player. But I totally love that. And I know that our people are hating this. They want to shoot them. But they are saying the same about the harmonica or yeah, all that. So, oh yes,
Well, I brought up a topic that I learned something about from you.
yeah. Well, I'm not really sure of if I know everything, but that is how I have imagined it all, at least. And we could probably Google it. Accordion, however, who has a bit of a similar noise. People are calling it noise. I call it probably. I don't like accordion.
No?
They are cool because they are more or less a piano with blowing stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how they work at all, and I'm not interested either. But there are some really good accordion players in Sweden, and I know that. I think even you back in some of your states are having some big accordion fairs and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure it's some German Oktoberfests and
yes, something
polka.
like that. Oh,
I'm
yes.
sure. Yeah, I wish.
Otherwise, Weird Al Jankovic wouldn't have made so many polka.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Right? Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Then we should. Okay. I have something that I called Everyday Prejudice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't sound good, right? But this is something that, in Sweden at least, we have this, that we have to be very, 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 very nice to people, and we should never offend them, and, well, all that. It is going way beyond the border of moral, actually. But it has affected all of us somehow. Let's say that you are thinking about spring rolls. I'm thinking you call it spring rolls. You know what I mean?
Chinese food?
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, of course, you can't say spring rolls. You can't, right? You have to call them spring rolls.
Okay.
And whenever I think, well, we have the same word more or less in Swedish, vårrullar. Of course, that is vårrullar. So you just extend, you take the R and you put an L into it and it becomes Chinese. And it's not really true. But we have that common prejudice that Chinese cannot say R.
Yes.
And perhaps they can't. I don't really bother with it. But every time I try to say spring rolls, it becomes spring rolls. I feel like I'm doing something so bad here. And there's no Chinese people around me. I have some Vietnamese neighbors, but they wouldn't bother. But that's not the point. I have been indoctrinated to feel so bad when I do something like this. This is what I call everyday prejudice. I do stuff like that all the time, and I'm thinking, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I should probably didn't have. We have like, you should not let a lady go first through a door. You shouldn't open the door for a lady because she can't do it herself. At least that's what she says. And then suddenly I do it because that's in my genes. I have been learned that since I was very little. Ladies go first through the door. It's just what to do. There's no reason for it. There's no logic. There's nothing. You just do it and that's it. But in Sweden, that has become something like making a female look stupid or something like that.
Like inferior
or
something.
And it has nothing to do with it in my book, but nowadays I'm affected by it.
Yeah, I would say definitely more and more the feminine power, or whatever you want to call it. You don't call them actresses anymore. You just call them actor. So they're equal opportunity.
That's one more, because that's not really prejudice if you call them actresses. We have the same thing in Swedish. So it's not like that, but you have to call them actor, or you don't have to. You just do it nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't think about it so often, but when I say the old word, and then it goes to my brain, what are you saying? You shouldn't say that.
Yeah, a lot of times on at work, we'll be dressing a group of people, and you just naturally will say, "Guys, hey guys, come on,
Yeah.
guys," and I've actually had some women speak up and say, "Hey, you guys, you keep saying guys, but we're not guys, we're women,"
Exactly.
and then it's like,
That's
"Oh,
that's
I didn't intend to offend
no.
anyone."
But it's like friends or mates or whatever you call them.
Hmm.
But you can't keep a woman calling her a mate because that's something completely different. You
Yeah.
know that. But
Well,
in Swedish, we don't have that word.
when I grew up too, we were we were very bad about calling out different racial things, or like a simple.
Yeah.
This is an example, like saying, "Oh, that's retarded," like that's
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly.
And
You're an
now,
idiot.
yeah, that's it's very much frowned on. People are a lot
Absolutely.
more sensitive in those ways.
But they are oversensitive. It feels like we're doing it too much on the other side all the time. And sometimes I really don't know how to do it properly. A very nice word, by the way.
Yeah,
Let's take the black people. I don't know what you call the black people anymore.
I try not to call them anything because
Exactly.
I don't want to say anything wrong. And I've grown up with people of all different colors, diversity. We learned about it
Yes,
in school. I'm there.
absolutely. Same with
I
me.
I have no. I don't think I have any prejudices.
Nope.
There are white people that I look down on by the way they act, just like any other.
Absolutely. They are
And
they are humans. All of them are humans, and we are judging them by their human appearance
yep,
or the way they do stuff.
yeah.
And
So
suddenly I had to refer to my Somalian. We have some guys from Somalia, and they are calling themselves black people. They are trying to do that racist separation thing. And I was going, what did you just say? You are bus drivers, that's one thing. You are humans, that's another thing. You have more kids than I have, that's the third thing. But that's all the differences that I can see, except for one guy. We call him El Presidente because he said that when he gets to be a farmer, a Swedish farmer, he will go back to Somalia and become a president because of a Somalian farmer that knows Swedish knowledge. That is a president. I was going, what? And he was just laughing. Oh dear. They are so funny, those guys. But they are from a different culture. And that is also something that we have to consider. I'm not totally sure that you think of it. I have to, because we have a lot of immigrants at the moment. And
well,
they are thinking about it a lot. We are not.
I mean, I certainly feel like in my profession, I do a lot of IT computer work,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty much a minority nowadays. There's a lot of other folks from other nationalities in my
Absolutely.
company and in the business in general.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
Because
very
everybody has a chance to getting into that business, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not like it is a white business or something like that. I have no idea what that should be.
No, 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 no. So yeah, there are prejudices that were just I grew up with them,
Yeah.
and then people have gone out of their way to change them, and then we've this, see, you have to be very careful even just to
Yeah,
say this.
absolutely.
I
This
was-
is very, very
So,
cautious.
particularly
subject.
when it comes to women's rights and being treated as equals, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like when you first fight back against a perceived prejudice,
Yeah.
it tends to flip the opposite way for a while
Absolutely.
before
It's always the other.
yeah.
Totally the other way.
It's like I'm perfectly happy for equal rights.
Absolutely.
For my wife to be a more important person than me, for
If that happens, yes.
my black or Chinese or any other neighbor to be more
Absolutely.
successful than me, president of the US, whatever. Nope. But I don't think we need to hear about it constantly. And
Precisely my point too.
I like the idea of, okay, it's going to happen. Let's talk about it, get it over with, and then let's just go
Yes.
on and talk about other stuff and
Yeah.
don't worry about
That's actually exactly what I'm also going for. I've been suddenly reacting too much myself. I mean, I usually just leave it as a thing. If I'm thinking spling lols, then please just let me do that and adjust myself later on. But reacting so badly, there's someone outside of me who has been teaching me to react this strongly about something that is more or less it's part of my history, it's part of my bringing up or whatever it is. I can turn it away. And if we stop talk about it too much, then it will probably go the other way again. So it's equal rights for everyone. That is the only thing that is actually important.
yeah. And
That's a tough one.
yeah, I think the other thing I would say is if you're growing up in a household that talks about has certain views on different people and talks that way, especially when you're young and impressionable, you might not even know that you're being influenced or taught that way.
Absolutely not.
And then when you get exposed to the wider world, hopefully you learn to not do that. But
Hopefully already very early in school.
yeah, and even like my neighbors, right? So if I live across the street from someone of a certain nationality and I see the way they behave, it's pretty natural that I'm going to think or assume that all people of that nationality are like that, which it really just takes time and exposure to broader people to know
Absolutely.
that that's not
how it
the
is.
case.
Yes, that is.
So
Well, it's a tough one, but now we have that one in the bag, right?
yeah.
Talking about bagpipes as well. Okay, well, thank you, Ron. That was interesting.
All right. And we'll catch you next time.
Absolutely. Goodbye.
Bye.